You guys just scared the crap out of me. Don't freaking be sneaking up on me like that, especially today of all days.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, boy. So, yeah, I thought I'd give you a special treat, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about every movie in the franchise, but I'm going to try and be as quick about it as I can because there's so many of those fucking Friday the 13th movies. If I spent too much detail, I'd be talking about this crap all night. Let's just get right into this shit. Number 1.
Hello? Who's that? Oh, hi. What are you doing out in this mess?
Friday the 13th Part 1 came out in 1980, directed by Sean Cunningham. The original is just a nice classic slasher. They kind of took the Halloween formula and then they put a cherry on top by adding the kills.
We weren't doing anything, we were just messing up.
It involves Mrs. Voorhees avenging the death of her son Jason, who was allowed to drown at Camp Crystal Lake. And yeah, it's just an awesome movie. The original, you know how originals are. Originals usually are always the best. The sequels almost always are pale imitations, and I would consider this definitely the case. The original Friday the 13th is just an awesome movie. I don't know. It's like a lot of us can relate to it. It's about teenagers partying and having fun, and just you're at that point in your life where you're ready to let go and have some fun and experience and explore things, and then somebody comes along and slashes your neck. Moving on to number 2. Friday the 13th Part 2 came out the very next year.
Friday the 13th. 12 of her friends were murdered.
There might have been 1 or 2 times that a year was skipped, but for the most part, there was a Friday the 13th released every year in the 80s. And so it was really quite an event, and it was something you got to look forward to every year. It's one of the things that makes the 80s so special, at least for someone like me. Yeah, so the second one, considering the fact that Mrs. Voorhees is dead, they brought in the character of Jason, who was supposed to be dead. So, but then they kept bringing Jason back over and over, so I don't see why they couldn't have just kept bringing Mrs. Voorhees back. In fact, they should probably make a movie where Mrs. Voorhees' zombie corpse and Jason team up together to kill people. Oh, I just thought of the next Friday the 13th. Someone's going to steal that, but that's okay because I want to see it. So somebody make that shit because I want to see it. Second one's pretty good because it was made the very next year. It still has quite the same feel. It's still set in the woods, in the cabins, and it's got that same feel and look to it. It's got like similar pacing. Jason has the potato sack on his head, and he's got one eye cut out, so he's looking through one eye, and he kind of looks like a hillbilly. He kind of looks like he came out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit, like from the same area that maybe those guys lived in Texas.
Friday the 13th. Part 2.
Bam. Okay, moving on.
Weekends are a good time to escape to the woods. Unless the weekend begins with Friday the 13th.
Part 3 in 3D came out, I believe, in 1983. Like I said, I believe there was a Friday the 13th released every year in the 80s. So yeah, Steve Miner came in and directed the third one. The third one's kind of a special one for a lot of us fans for a few reasons. Number 1, obviously the biggest draw is the fact that this is the first time Jason gets his hockey mask, okay? And, you know, I'm not sure if anybody at the time knew that it was going to become so iconic, but lo and behold, it sure did. It's also kind of a special movie in the sense that it strayed a little bit from the first two. Steve Miner infused a lot of kind of comedy into it, and it made it a fun movie. It wasn't just a slasher anymore, it was a fun movie.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. Now, when it comes to killing in Jason's woods, Jason will come to you.
I would go ahead and give Steve Miner credit for making the franchise, because he kind of opened it up a little bit and made people realize it didn't always have to be the same exact thing over and over again.
Count on it.
'I didn't get to see it in theaters when it came out, obviously. I was 4 years old, but I have it on DVD, and I've got the freaking glasses here. And admittedly, it looks pretty decent for old school 3D. It's not bad. I would recommend you maybe partake in a little something along those lines and watch it with your glasses on. It's pretty damn cool.
Three times before, you have felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror. But this is the one you've been screaming for.
It's rumored that the studio, they were getting kind of tired of making the same movie over and over again, so they said, well, let's make one more, let's kill Jason off and be done for good. Yeah, you wish. You wish. Number 4 is pretty good. In fact, a lot of people call it their favorite, and quite a few fans insist that it was the last good Friday the 13th movie. There seems to be a little bit more character development going on with the characters in the movie. You get to know him a little bit more. And Jason is Jason. He's badass as usual. And he kept his hockey mask, because everybody, as soon as he put that on in number 3, everybody knew that was a winner.
Friday, April 13th is Jason's unlucky day. Okay,
Friday the 13th, Part 5. A New Beginning, I believe it's called. This one, again, spoilers, if you haven't seen it, don't listen to me. Number 5, I guess after they killed Jason, but they brought in a lot of money at the box office, so they decided, well, shit, we got to make another one now, don't we? What do we do? We killed Jason. Well, I guess we'll just have an imposter. Yeah, a copycat killer.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
It's widely considered one of the worst ones of the series, and I personally don't really enjoy it that much. It just seems to be a mess, and there's a few things that are funny, like, because it's just so stupid. But on a whole, I would say not only do I not like it because it has an imposter killer, but the movie itself feels like an imposter. It feels like it's just a wannabe Friday the 13th, and it just doesn't do it for me. So screw that one. Moving on. Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives. Alright, this is where we get going. It's now 1986 approximately. Mid-80s. You know how crazy the 80s were. Everybody was smoking up and drinking and having fun and being 80s people. So this movie actually really fits in with its time, that's for sure. You can tell it was a product of its time. But I think it's a pretty good movie, and a lot of fans consider it to be pretty decent. It also is one of those movies in the series that kind of brought the fun back, you know, because number 3 was funny, silly kind of movie. Number 4 brought in a little bit more seriousness. Number 5 was just dumb. But number 6 brought the fun back again and made it it's kind of like the rock and roll Friday the 13th. Let's move on to number 7 now.
This is the one you've been waiting for.
What's happening to me?
Your psychokineses and these delusions are...
No, you're not listening to me!
The one you've been asking for.
Hey, Tina, isn't this the way they wear their jackets back in the mental hospital?
Concentrate. Concentrate, Tina!
The one you've been dying for.
You people give me the creeps.
Now, I personally think that this is one of the better Friday the 13th in the series. And the reason being, again, spoilers, is because the director, John Carl Buechler, was ballsy enough to bring in a new element into the series. And what he did was he brought in a psychic, telekinetic teenager named Tina to battle Jason. It brought something new and fresh, and it's cool that way. Yeah, it's a good movie. It to a certain extent, it still sticks to your regular formula. There's still kids, teenagers being teenagers out by Crystal Lake where they shouldn't be. If you're sitting through the first hour and you're like, this is just the same old crap, just hang on. It gets better.
Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Opening Friday, May 13th, the deadliest day of the year.
There goes the neighborhood.
Friday the 13th Part 7 is recommended. Let's move on to number 8. Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Okay. It sounds like a really good idea, oddly enough. We had seen the same movie so many times before. Everyone was ready to see Jason go to New York and be in a different environment for a change and do something maybe different, stalk people through the streets or in their apartment buildings or through, downtown New York, Times Square, whatever. Unfortunately, spoilers, Jason doesn't freaking go to Manhattan until like the last 20-25 minutes of the movie. He spends the entire rest of the time on a fucking boat. If I had to categorize it, I'd say it's probably the 3rd worst Friday the 13th movie.
Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, New York has a new problem.
Part 8 was quite disappointing. Let's move on to Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. I'm not even sure when this one came out. 91 or 92? 92, 93, somewhere around that time. Okay, I might be pissing some people off right now. Probably not too many. But I think this is probably the worst Friday the 13th movie. Jason Goes to Hell. It's a piece of shit. Jason's hardly even in the movie at all. He spends all his time hopping from body... His soul, jumps from body to body, and he uses other people to kill people. And the reason why I think it's the worst one, not only is it just a terrible fucking movie, but I mean, it's not even a Friday the 13th movie, because it's just random dumb people killing other random dumb people. So, what the hell, man? The only good thing that Jason Goes to Hell has going for it is that it introduced Freddy into the mix. The idea of Freddy versus Jason, where at the end, Freddy's glove comes out of the ground and pulls Jason's mask down to hell. The next one that came out was Friday the 13th, Part 10, Jason X.
In the year 2455, on a routine training mission, a team of students is about to discover a life form frozen in time.
They're on their way back. Prepare for docking and power up the lab.
You brought him on board?
Everything's under control, ma'am.
Admittedly, when I saw the preview for this movie, I was like, what the fuck, dude? They actually sent Jason to space. This came at the time when everybody, as soon as your franchise got so watered down and you milked it for all it's worth, you sent your character to space. Pinhead went to space, freaking Leprechaun went to space, and then they sent Jason to space, and I was like, oh, fuck this movie. And I didn't go and see it at the theater because I thought it was going to be shitty. I eventually did watch it, and I found it to be hilarious and entertaining. Now, for the most part, it just looks like a low-budget sci-fi movie, like literally a made-for-TV sci-fi movie. It looks pretty bad for the most part, but what does make up for its ridiculous premise and its terrible cheapness is that the kills are pretty creative. I'd say that that's where all the effort went into, was probably just trying to make the kills as creative as possible, and that's the one thing that actually pulls this movie through. So Jason in Outer Space is not the worst Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion. Not too long after that, the fans got what we had been waiting for like 10 years. Freddy vs. Jason finally came out.
Warn your friends. Warn everyone.
This movie is so kick-ass and fucking fun and funny and enjoyable and entertaining. I seen it at the theater twice. I just thought it was fucking awesome, man, and a lot of people think so. There are some diehard fans that think it's blasphemy, and you're obviously entitled to your opinion, but these were the two biggest horror icons of the 1980s, and it makes perfect sense that they would battle each other.
Freddy versus Jason.
Place your bets.
I will bravely admit, during the movie, I was rooting for Freddy. I was. However, if you pay close enough attention while you're watching this movie, you will realize in Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy only gets one kill, and Jason gets something like 18. He gets a lot. So, I'd say in this respect, Jason definitely won.
Did you know a young boy drowned here? He was my son, and today is his birthday.
Moving on to the last one, so far anyway, because you know there's going to be more. The Friday the 13th remake. When did this come out? 2009, I think? Came out on a Friday the 13th, as most of them do. I totally remember being sick as a dog. Like, I was not feeling good at all, but I insisted I was going to go to the theater and see this movie because I had never seen a Friday the 13th in the theater before, and definitely never seen one on a Friday the 13th in the theater, so I was going to see this motherfucker. When we got there to buy our tickets that night, I have never, ever seen the movie theater so packed. The parking lot alone was so full that people were hopping the curb to go park in large dirt fields and shit. So the remake starts out strong. The first 15 minutes is fucking awesome. And then after that, I don't know, it just goes downhill. I don't enjoy it so much after that. Once they introduce all the supposed main characters, they're so one-dimensional, and I just hated them, and I didn't enjoy the rest of the movie. I will admit that if there's any pluses to the remake, it's that Jason, for a change, actually seems to have some intelligence going on. He seems to actually be thinking about things, planning and plotting. He's not just a zombie walking around all slow. He seems like there is some intelligence and there's some humanness behind the mask. So that's definitely one of the things they got right with the remake. And even though I didn't really care for the movie all that much, I will say that the theater experience of watching a Friday the 13th movie was fucking awesome. The whole place was packed. People were screaming and yelling and talking to the screen and laughing, and people were running up and down the aisles. It was a blast, man. It was like a big party, and that was the most enjoyable thing about the movie. And so even though it wasn't all that, it wasn't the worst one, it wasn't the best one, but I'm definitely glad that I went to the theater to see it. And if another one comes out, I'll be there. I'll be there for each and every one that ever comes out. Even though they're going to send them to Mars or some shit next, I'll go. I'll see that stupid shit. It's cool. I love it. I love it. Yeah! Well, let's wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed my little spiel here about every movie in the Friday the 13th franchise, and I hope you have a good one today, and you don't. Do not smoke that joint. Do not have sex with that guy or girl. Do not drink alcohol. Do not stay out after 10. Don't go investigate the noise. Don't go to the lake. Stay away from all camps. Just don't even get out of bed. Watch this video and then get back in bed and don't do shit because you're going to die. Alright. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next time. Whatever that means. I just made up a new phrase, so that'll be my sign-off now. I'll catch you on the next time, bitches.